of all, thanks executive committee member, all executive committee member, and President-elect and Sanjay for giving me an opportunity for this second time President talk. So I am giving this President talk second time. Last time it was purely virtual, and I am lucky that I am in RSSDI as a President position for Sec 2 term. What I am going to talk today is diabetes care in India, where we were, where we are, and where we should be. My journey started from Kuchaman city. It's a very small village in Rajasthan, and my father, I am remembering my parents who persuaded me to become doctor, and my family were there. My wife is here with me. In this journey of diabetes, I always thankful to my teacher, my PG guide, Professor Dr. Ashan Shah. She's not here, she's in US, for being a wonderful teacher to me. My elder brother, my mentor, Dr. Shashank, for being a friend, a guide in this journey of diabetes. And he introduced me to RSSDI. Late Shri Dr. Shaukat Sadikot, remembering late Dr. Sadikot, he taught me to a better with my organizational skill, and I always remain obliged to him. And Dr. Professor V. Mohan for inspiring me to do better each day and make difference in the lives of people with diabetes. Diabetes, where we were and where we are. If you see this paper of Lancet Global Health, in 1996, we were having 26 million. And in 2016, that's after 25 years, we increased almost by 2.5 times. So it is that pace we are increasing in our country. This is the data of 2019 International Diabetic Federation data. We talk about 77 million people with diabetes. I'll be talking about 2021, what we are now. In 2030, it is predicted to be more than 100 million. You see that almost 50% of them are not diagnosed with diabetes. National prevalence of diabetes in adult population is almost 8.9%, and 1 million diabetes-related death in diabetes in 2019. In 1990, this you can see on this side, the left side, the most of our country were having light blue or the blue in the color. That shows that incidence of diabetes was less than 4.5%. But after 25 years, you can see that most of this blue had changed to the yellow or even in the light red also. And some part like Tamil Nadu and Kerala, it had shown the incidence even more than 10.5%. And the situation is 2021. We will be talking little later. But if you see the age standardized percentage changed from 1990 to 2016. In 25 years, it has changed completely, and it is most of the part in India had become almost red. This is the 2021 data. Actually, full IDF Atlas had not been released. It will be released in first week of December. Normally, it used to get released on 12th of November. But this is the data which we had just seen before 3 days. Number of adults with diabetes is predicted to rise to 152 million by 2045, an increase of 68% in Southeast Asia population. So in compared to the world, we are one of the highest increasing population of diabetes. We have at present all over the world 537 million adults are living with diabetes. This is 2021 data. 4 in 5 adults with diabetes live in low and middle income countries. So we are the country with middle income countries, and all over the world almost 3/4 of the population or more than that are actually living in our country. 6.7 million deaths are due to diabetes in 2021. But one more alarming situation is, other than 537 million who are diabetic, we have 541 million adults have impaired glucose tolerance. So if you see that all over the world, we have almost 100 crores of the persons, they are having dysglycemia. They have either diabetes or they have IGT. Now, problem associated with diabetes care in India, we have huge burden of diabetes and its complication. There are several issues of diabetes care, which is socio-economic factors and medical infrastructures. We don't have appropriate monitoring and follow-up of the patients is very poor. Access to health care is poor in several parts of our country. And the financial burden of diabetes, both on patients and nation economy, is extremely high. The non-adherence to the recommended guidelines results in inappropriate diabetes care for our country. There are distinctive features of type 2 diabetes in our country. Despite low BMI, we have high waist circumference, we have high waist hip ratio, we have high visceral fat, we have increased insulin resistance, we have high prevalence of atherogenic dyslipidemia, and we have early beta cell defect also. We have this high prevalence. Along with that, we are getting our diabetic patients in younger and younger population. We are getting diabetes with the lower BMI of the patients. We are getting the diabetes with higher incidence of coronary artery disease. And we have also other microvascular complications of diabetes also very high. But if you see the issue in the management, we have low awareness level. Even with the high incidence of diabetes, high incidence of the complication, still the awareness level in our country is very low. We have high prevalence of undiagnosed diabetes still, unaffordability of care, unavailability of trained medical and paramedical staff. That is what the real situation. So that what the Sanjay had given me the topic when we were discussing what we should talk at the president, that what we are having and what we were. So diabetes care in our country is actually not improved so much. In 2007, this data I just wanted to show, in that point of time, 19.7% of our population were achieving the HbA1c of less than 7. Then I show you the data of 2014. It is not changed. In 2007 to 2014, even 70% of our diabetic patients in India have HbA1c of more than 7. And then I show you the data of 2020. Again, it is showing less than 22.2% of the patients are actually achieving HbA1c of less than 7. So I mean the point is here from 2007 to 2020, even we have in last 13-14 years, so many newer medications had come. Every time we are talking about some or other new medication, but nothing had improved. In India, the situation is still same. Our patients, hardly 25% or less than them, are achieving a tighter glycemic control. The rule of house for India is actually very, very right, because whatever the number of patients who are having diabetes in India, 50% of them are not diagnosed. So they don't know whether they are having diabetes or not. All those who are diagnosed, they don't get the receive optimum care. So I mean this access to the diabetes care, the World Diabetes Day theme is made for the developing countries only. It is made for those because out of 4% are living in low and middle income countries, and access to diabetes care is suboptimal for these countries. So 50% of them, they don't receive the care. All those who receive the care, 50% of them are achieving the targets. And out of those who are achieving the targets, 50% of them are achieving the desired outcome. So desired outcome mean it is not just the A1C has to be controlled, it is the blood pressure has to be controlled, the cholesterol has to be controlled, smoking cessation has to be done, they should go for a regular walk, for every other thing. So if you see out of 100, hardly 6.25 is actually getting the appropriate treatment as per the guideline, or what is this. So the high burden of complications in persons with diabetes in our country. If you see the cross section of any diabetes clinic, I mean, you go to any diabetic center, you will find that out of them, almost 1/3 of them will have retinopathy. 2/3 of diabetic patients will have already coronary risk factor, or they die of coronary artery disease. They have microalbuminuria. Neuropathy is very, very common. Complications of diabetic patients, they develop coronary artery disease almost 2 decades earlier. We get more triple vessel disease. Yes, peripheral vascular disease in our country is slightly less. 25% of our diabetic patients, they develop foot ulcer during lifetime, and foot ulcer is require more than 30% of the time the hospitalization. So still the problem is we are still living in a era of pre-2015 where we have to be a glucose-centric approach. Rather, in 2015 onward, we understood that it is not the glucose-centric approach. Now we have to move from glucose-centric approach to the cardiovascular risk prevention or the complication preventive approach, and that is what we understood from different newer clinical trial and with the newer anti-diabetic data also. So there is a low awareness in spite of high prevalence. We have 40% of our patients are unaware that diabetes can cause neuropathy. 42% believe that avoiding sugar is enough to control blood sugar. And this is very important because most of us, we have the patients, they talk that our patients, they ask that yes, I have stopped my sugar and I am not taking any sugar. Why my sugar is still high? 60% they believe that diabetes occurs only in old age, and that is the reason they don't go for the regular monitoring. Still we have the Indian guideline that anyone above the age of 30 should monitor their sugar every alternate year for the sake of checking the sugar level. 32% Indians do not take borderline diabetes seriously, and borderline, they feel that 7 is borderline or 7.5 is a borderline. They don't understand that 5.8 to 6.5 is a borderline. That is what we call pre-diabetes. 45% had no idea that their children have higher chance of getting diabetes, and this is very important because if someone knows that they are at the higher chance of getting diabetes, they should go and reach to the physician that how I can prevent my diabetes. If we want really where we should be, that this is the where we should act, that they should reach to the doctor. Somebody who is not a diabetic, he should reach the doctor that how I can prevent my diabetes. 1 in 3% is ignorant about the signs and symptoms of high blood sugar and low blood sugar. 40% are unable to identify dizziness, sweating as a signs of low sugar. The last, which is very important, that 53% believe that eating Kerala and methi can cure diabetes. And this is what is happening in our country. And to be surprised that we were having on a media, a type 1 diabetes is cured because of all these things. And this type of things are happening in our country. So where we were and where we are, this is what I am trying to show. And that's the reason we had come out with a campaign, with a Defeat Diabetes campaign, reaching to 100 million persons in 100 days. That was our idea, that to increase the awareness about diabetes, not primarily to do more camp, it was just to do more about the awareness about the diabetes. And our idea was to have testing more, tracking more those who are having diabetes, those who don't have the diabetes, they should be also tracked for the prevention of diabetes. And last, that those who are having diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, even after tracking their sugar is not controlled, let them go for a better treatment, because early and aggressive control is going to be the only way by which we can reduce the complication. So the early diagnosis is a need of ours. That is what the problem is. We are getting delayed diagnosis. Our patients are not getting diagnosed at the time of diagnosis of diabetes. It is delayed for years together. And timely diagnosis and early treatment is going to give the legacy effect, because this legacy effect is going to continue. A early intensive therapy generates legacy effect lifelong. But the body is such like that even if you have a bad glycemic, that also continues. The bad glycemic legacy also continues in our body. So if somebody is not intensifying early enough, if he is not diagnosed early, if he is in first 5 to 10 years is not intensively controlling diabetes, this bad legacy also remains throughout the life. It means those who are reaching after 10 or 15 years, and if they come to you and then they want the best treatment, then they reach to the referral center, then they go to the diabetologist. And this is the reason we have to reach to the rural population. We have to reach to the primary care physicians, where they are actually missing this first 5 to 10 years. We are getting the patient who is already having 10 years of diabetes, 5 years of diabetes. Now, whatever best you do, you can't help, because to undo the bad legacy is also very, very difficult. I mean, somebody who had a bad legacy, who was having uncontrolled diabetes of last 5, 10 years or 20 years, then whatever best you do, even you have the best therapy, which for him, you can't do this bad legacy cannot be undo also. So diabetes care where we were, early diagnosis by increasing awareness, and that we should do. So this is first thing, which is the first part of it. I had shown where we are and where we were. So the early diagnosis we should do for our patients, and that we should have a national campaign for a early diagnosis for our patient, and that we can do by increasing the awareness. The second thing which we can do, improving access to diabetes care, and that we should do now, because if we will not continue to do that, we will not able to give them a best care. Unless they will achieve the best care, they will not able to prevent the complication. The third part is aggressive management for getting tight glycemic control. If our patients who are achieving not tight glycemic control, this bad legacy will remain throughout the lifetime. And this is very, very important. We should teach and educate our primary care physician that an aggressive management and early and aggressive management is very important. Screening of complication, yearly checkup, screening of complications for eye, screening for coronary artery disease, we are not doing. I mean, this is not happening in our country. Unless we screen the patients for every year annual checkup as per guidelines, we will not able to prevent the complication. The glucocentric approach has to be changed. We cannot be only a glucocentric approach. We just can't have only the sugar to be controlled. We want our patients to control not only the sugar but other aspects of the disease also, that is the blood pressure, the cholesterol, for everything, because otherwise we will not able to complications cannot be prevented. The precision diabetology had come. So the precision diabetology we want for each and every person. It has to be very individualistic. I mean, you just can't treat all the patients in on a blanket therapy. The patient has to be treated the way he needs, and the patient's lifestyle has to be changed accordingly. And so this is what precision diabetology, we should use more of technology. The continuous glucose monitoring sort of things can be used more in our clinical practice. And the prevention of diabetes for high risk population, this is very important, where we should be, because the prevention is possible. Diabetes is a preventable disorder. The person who should reach to the doctor that I am at the risk of developing diabetes, I am at the higher risk of developing diabetes. Just day before yesterday, we launched the app in our RSSD inauguration that those who are at the higher risk, Indian Diabetes Risk Score now available on an app, that if somebody is at the higher risk of developing diabetes, how diabetes can be prevented. And that should be our motto, that the patient should reach to the doctor, not patient, the person who is at the risk of developing diabetes should reach to the doctor, there where he can prevent the diabetes. Now the next part is where we are, where we should, and where we will. So the point is, can we change the natural history of type 2 diabetes? Can we? And this is what we should. Just to start with, we all know that we are thin fat Indians. We are having high insulin resistance. Our waist hip ratio is 5% more. We have more fat percentage in our body, and we have higher insulin resistance also. In compared to Western population, our Indian phenotype is the central obesity. We have higher, we have more fat percentage, we have less muscle mass, and we are highly insulin resistance. This data shows not of diabetes, it is of low birth weight. So if you see the World Health Organization, all over the world, we are the only country who is having our baby who are born with less than 3 kg weight. While in the world, if you see European world or you see North America or even in only some part of the Africa only, it is less than 2.8. So this is the birth weight of our Indian child. If I do the cartography, so we just make the two, we are the capital of two. One side, undernutrition, low birth weight child, under the age of 5 years, if you see, we are the one which is highest. You can see it is the, in the screen, our map that India looks very fat because we have this problem of undernutrition and low birth weight child. But other side, paradoxically, you will also feel that obesity, diabetes, and diabetes is one of the most important things. For that also we are having the highest. So there is a linkage between a low birth weight child and there is a linkage of the more increased incidence of diabetes also in our country. This is what a small, thin, fat Indian baby. This is a Yagnik presentation in 2002. So my point is, in last 20 years, even the Indian scientists who presented this data to the world, that we are showing that the Indian baby is of 2.8 kg in compared to Caucasian baby, which is of around 3.2. So there is a difference of 500 grams. And you can see, even at the time of newborn, the fat percentage in a Western population, it is less than 20, while in Indian baby, which is newborn, is having 25% plus. If you see the muscle mass of a baby born in a Caucasian population is more than 30%, but it is less than 15% in an Indian baby who is born with that. And the viscera is also low. I mean, the viscera mean all the organs in the body is also with low weight in the baby of 2.7 kg. So this is what we have in our country and where the fat percentage is higher. So nobody had worked after that. After 2002, this is the real fact. And we can think of doing something primordial prevention. So what I'm talking is where we were, where we should be. But where we should be, that is the next fact, is for a primordial prevention and how we can do it. So the Indian scenario, we are having poor maternal nutrition. I will continue the story of our previous speaker with Dr. Usha Sriram, that with low birth weight child with relatively high body fat, that is what we have with a newborn, and then there is a rapid postnatal growth. And this very high increasing in the body weight and relatively higher fat in the adulthood is the main reason for them to develop metabolic syndrome. Rather than increasing the adiposity, we should have more increase in the lean body mass or more increase in the length of the bones. That is the only way by which we can reduce the risk of obesity or diabetes, while we are increasing the adiposity, which increases the risk of diabetes. So our right to healthy future is that diabetes is currently unstoppable and has impacted human life stronger. If the epidemic of diabetes in India is a disease due to low birth baby, undernutrition or overnutrition because of PCOD or because of GDM, it has occurred within a generation. That is what Usha was talking about, the transgenerational effect. Can we reverse it? There is no reason why it should not be reversed on a similar time scale. So in last 50 years, what we have seen, there is a transgenerational effect. Then we are getting a baby with a low birth weight. She is already insulin resistant at the time of birth only. A 2.7 kg child is fed all the time. In a pediatric age group, she becomes or he becomes obese or overweight. up to the age of 12, 13, in the adolescence, again she develops either PCOS. If she is a female child, a male child is also become obese. And then in pediatric age group or early adulthood, a obese or an overweight person is always at the risk of developing metabolic syndrome or other metabolic problem, may not be diabetic. If we can reverse everything, we will talk about little later that can we reverse everything. Is there any possibility of a primary prevention of diabetes or something what we can think of diabetes-free India? Let me talk that we had talked about the Sakhi program, we talked about the diabetes in women, we know about the transgenerational things that is very important. But at this point of time, we are working with the family, those who are completely unaware about the diabetes or metabolic syndrome. This is the real situation in our country. Somebody, a family member, they just don't bother about the diabetes. Even their parents were diabetics. They had not gone to any doctor to understand that is diabetes is preventable. Can I prevent my diabetes? Nothing. No awareness as far as this is concerned. What they are doing? Not doing any exercise, all the time eating, and the food which they are eating is a calorie dense food. No idea that how it is going to affect their body, how it is going to create a metabolic problem to them. They are not monitoring for sugar, not monitoring for cholesterol, not monitoring for anything. Their access to the doctor is also very poor. And that is what the access to the diabetes care for the medications, everything is very, very low. And this is, I am not talking of urban family, I am talking of across the country, even somebody is at the rural level also, and they don't get the tertiary referral center or hospitals also. Even the doctor who is a practicing physician, who is also having the issue of about the metabolic problems to deal with, because he's all the time 24/7 is busy with the infectious problem. He is also busy to treat with many more conditions and many more problems for this. And what RSSDI is doing at this point of time, for this project we had already talked that a lot of project which we are doing for diabetes in women is Sakhi initiative. We are trying to educate the people, we are trying to educate the physicians about the diabetes in women problem and how we can prevent the GDM, how we can prevent the PCOS, how we can do all these things. We are also trying to do with Indian Dietetic Association to improve the education level, that you know how diabetes specific nutrition, what is healthy nutrition, what is how we can prevent the obesity in large population. We have also to increase the awareness in society. We have done multiple programs through RSSDI, not only the Defeat Diabetes campaign, we have done Diabetes Bites, we have done RSSDI PAHAL, we have Reach to Community Reach program, we have done FM radio program, TV program, print media campaign, multiple campaigns which we have done for that. For even that access to the care is a real problem, and for that we had given the free glucose meter across the country to many of the doctors. Not only for that doctors, even the Rotary International, thousands of the glucose meters just for the improving the access to the care and improving the sugar testing for them, and free supply to the insulin to the type 1 that we are doing with more than 4,005 children, free supply of medicine during COVID time. What we have done, we have affiliated center for advanced course in diabetes, because this is a major problem. They are not getting a tertiary care center, they are not getting somebody who is expert in the field of diabetes, and that is what we are doing. We are also trying to teach and educate our doctors through the district coordinator program, reaching to the taluka level for taluka representative, and we are doing annual meetings, state level conference, online program, advanced course in diabetes, and we are also doing for our research, for our publication, through our journal, through research and all those things which we are doing. So can we now think of what we are doing? We had talked about it, what we should do, that we had talked, and then can we think of something called primordial prevention? Can we think of diabetes-free India? Yes, it is possible if we think of all those aspects, that how we can change our low birth weight baby, which is 2.7. Can we have a normal baby, a 3.2 full term with a normal delivery? So now the young girls who are at this point of time, counseling these young girls to eat healthy and stay physically active before even they reach to adolescence age. And if we can make them physically active, it is out of the way RSSDI has to work. It is the RSSDI is working primarily for diabetes. Primarily we are working for diabetes prevention. We are talking to the doctors to educate them. But this is like going to the society, reaching to them, that counseling these young girls to eat healthy and stay physically active will lead to an increase in their muscle mass. We want to make them healthy mom after 15 years. We want to make them this 10-year-old girl or an 8-year-old girl or 7-year-old girl She should become healthy mom just not by at the age of 20. She should become healthy mom. We should start training her when she is only 7 or 8. If a healthy mother will be there, and a healthy mother with an increased muscle mass will deliver a healthy child. If a healthy child with a proper food and nutrition during pregnancy. So we don't want our mother to have a GDM. We don't want our young girls to have a PCOS. We don't want them to develop any sort of IUGR during the pregnancy, not to develop the pregnancy-induced hypertension if nothing will there, and they will deliver a normal baby, which will be complete. We have to train the gynecologist also. So here when we are talking of these young girls, we have to reach out to the pediatrician. And when we are talking to the healthy mother, we have to reach out to the gynecologist also, because they have to deliver these baby normally for full term. They should not have a premature baby. They should not have the cesarean. They should have a full term baby. That is what we want, the healthy mother and healthy child. And then again to reach to the school, that is what our kids program, International Diabetic Federation program, supported by RSSDI, PHFI, but again to reach to the school for a healthy school kids, because these normal baby who are born with normal mother, they should have a healthy in their pediatric age group also. So including more activity during that. And we propose there should be a health science booklet, which should be as a part of their curriculum. The way we have the social science, the way we have the geography in the school, from the class 5 to 9, they should reach the health science. Health science should be the part of their curriculum. That is very, very important. The promoting sports at the school level, encouraging schools to provide healthy food in children, so that getting healthy kids or healthy young adults, healthy youth will be providing to avoid unhealthy food items, to use public transport, to do more regular physical activity, and then we can think of healthy youth in our society. And then we can think of disease-free adults. So I mean, it is a long process, what RSSDI is doing, what we are, what we were, because the diabetes is increasing in our country. We were having a lot of complications. We talk every time all those aspects. We try to prevent all those things. We changed from our glucocentric approach to complication preventive approach. We have done all those things, but still more to be done. And for that more to be done, what we can do is from young girls to healthy mom, to healthy kids, to healthy youth, and we can think of a disease-free adults. Someone who is above after the age of 2030. What is my dream is, if someone born after 2030, he should not see in his lifetime a obesogenic factor or a diabetogenic factor in his lifetime. So the chances of developing diabetes in his lifetime should become less and less, and that is what diabetes-free India by 2030. It is not that after 2030 nobody will have diabetes. It's not possible, but at least they should be delayed. It should not happen in 30s. It should not happen in 40s. It should not happen in 50s. That is what the dream of diabetes-free India of 2030. So let's begin our city and proceed to create a diabetes-aware society, and let's close the door for diabetes. This is what we think of diabetes-free India in 2030. Concluding, we believe we are at a time when we can change the natural history of type 2 diabetes. Doing so should benefit the health of millions of patients and will benefit healthcare system by reducing resourcing use and cost. Thank you very much.